Hey guys, Gorth Ballin here. Thanks so much for all the subs, guys. I mean, a couple months ago, we had 100 subscribers on this channel. Now we're slowly creeping up to 300. So that is fantastic. I appreciate that. Guys, if you're setting up these tents, these pop-up tents, this is Impact Canopy pop-up tent. I don't know, they're about $250, $300 a pop for the 10 by 10. We also have extremely cheap versions. I don't know if you can see them up there. Okay. We buy them for $88 and we rent them out for $35. I don't really want, they're not as sturdy at all, the cheap versions. But people don't want to spend $100 to rent these things. You know, especially if it's like a little backyard thing. And I notice a lot of companies don't even offer those cheap ones. So we're like, hey, let's offer those cheap ones, at least for now, you know. They might become a liability but they're super hot rental. I mean, super hot. We have them always, all of them rented, like 30, 40, I'm gonna buy more this year, way more. But we always have them all rented out every summer weekend, unless it's like, you know, terrible. But these ones, they look more professional. These are also very popular. Especially if your event's a bit more fancy, if you want to be a bit more presentable. And these are like fire rated, so some events require that, or if you have multiple, you sort of need them, depending on your bylaw codes in your area, etc. Anyways, if you're setting these up, you need weights. I know some companies are like, it's fine, or it's like an optional thing. Do you want weights with your tents? Our tents are a bit cheaper to rent out, so we force people to get these weights, which A, covers our butt if it's windy and the tent starts flying. Well, we rented out weights. You know, weights were on here. That's really the safety feature. You need those weights because these act like sails. So we bought these canvas weights, and I have 3 of them here. And I know most rental companies do go for these ones, but these ones are much more expensive. And as a new rental company, I thought to myself, well, I just can't afford those rubber, those classic rubber weights. Therefore, these are the ones that I ended up purchasing. And in the end, the Impact Canopy one was the best. This is the Gigatent one. I just saw it on Wayfair for $35.99 Canadian. So what, that's 45, or sorry, that's like 25, 26, 27 US, something like that. But both the Gigatent and the Ohuhu, I think that's how it's pronounced, I have no clue. Or Huhu, I don't know, I believe it's Ohuhu actually. This one's the cheapest. It's like $16.99 or something like that. But this one was also the worst, which I suppose makes sense. But this one was $35.99 and this one's $35. And so, directly from the manufacturer, by the way, Impact Instant Canopy. Vastly superior. I mean, look at, first of all, for this one, you can carry it up like that. There's also a little built-in handle, so you can carry it up vertically like this. And look at the strapping on these, you know? Like, look at that. Thick strap versus this. Do you see the difference? Vastly superior. Same with this. I mean, I thought these were better than these. But now I'm not even that sure, because eventually they all started failing from the bottom. I mean, the stitching isn't great. While here, you can see, look how the stitching is done. I mean, it's not like round, so the gravity just pops that off. It's done in a much better way. Bad? Good. You can see it's like double, you know, double layered or whatever. So, this one, vastly superior. And I mean, I might go for the rubber ones eventually. I don't know if they look that great. But in the end, the rubber ones pretty much last forever. I suppose they eventually do break up. I see pieces of them, chunks of them falling apart. I don't know though. These ones seem to look a bit better. They're less of a trip hazard. Let me know what you guys think about that. You can fill them to about 20, 25 pounds. You might get them to around 30 for these because they just have, like, the one nice thing about these is that it's easier to fill. It's just one sort of container while these are double. And I'll show you how to set them up on the tents as well. Another tip, before I forget, because I can see it here. I line these up, okay, with liner. And so if there's a micro hole, then it doesn't immediately release that sand or whatever you fill it with. And by the way, fill it with sand, not gravel, because gravel is abrasive, so they won't last as long if you fill it with gravel. Fill it with sand. The softer, the finer sand, the better. Except, if you do have super fine sand and you do have a pinhole, it will just literally just seep out almost indefinitely until the sand reaches the level of the hole, almost like water, because it sort of acts like a fluid. Yeah, let's not get into fluid dynamics or liquid dynamics or anything. I'm not an engineer, but I think there's there's physics going on there. So to prevent that issue, just line it. I now double line it. Now, when you do get a hole and as it expands, that liner will pop through and it'll look kind of silly. You can still probably use it 2-3 times more, but eventually that hole will just naturally expand and you can stitch it up, I suppose, and have another few uses out of it. But certainly the impact ones will last the longest. Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence whether buying those sort of the rubber ones there. Yeah, I'm on the fence. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. These ones attach like that. So, let me unstrap this. So just like put it around, you know. You sort of want these to be on the inside of the tent so it doesn't act like a tripping hazard. And then you just take the strap and strap it over. You know, I only have one hand, but you want to do it as tight as possible so these sort of squeeze in here and prevent this pole from popping out of that hole. And you know, if you do it tight, then that will be the case. And this one attaches the same way. But yeah, much better. This one's a bit different. Sort of attaches like that. The leg goes through these straps. Not as great of a system. Again, you want on the inside. You want this sitting on that phalange as well, which helps a bit more. Guys, but in the end, if it's super windy, you want to put these down. If it's, you know, 30, 40, 50, maybe 30 is okay, like little gusts. But there's a point when, even with weight, you know, this thing is going to fly or fall over, and you don't want it to cause property damage or worse, people damage. So just keep that in mind. Marquee tents are way better for wind resistance. And, you know, the ballast, the weight that we put on the marquee tents are in the hundreds or total thousands of pounds. Versus this, which is, you know, for 20-pound or 25-pound legs. So, and the fabric, obviously, for the marquee tents is much thicker. In every way, they're built heavier, which is why they rent out for so much, and these rent out for fairly less. But yeah, I use those canvas bags, guys, and I'm not sure if I'll transfer it to, like, I'll probably have to, because in the end, if those other ones are lasting 10 times as long as the canvas ones, that will be the most cost-effective way. But let me know what you guys think. All the canvas ones are okay if you're using it occasionally, maybe 2-3 times, or you're having like an annual event. You know, in the end, maybe the cheaper one is okay. Actually, if it's annual, maybe get the better one. But even the Ohuhu ones are okay, you know, if you're only using it a couple times. If you're a company or something, but you're only using it once in a blue moon. But yeah, otherwise, Impact Canopy tents, the very best. Guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you later.